Welcome to Make It Monday. We are going to use that canvas that we found along with our paints, and today we are going to do some acrylic finger painting. Now, instead of doing it the abstract way that we would normally do finger painting, we're going to do this a little more planned. So we're going to take the canvas and we're going to use the paints. I have about 11 colors here that I am going to use. You can use whatever you want. This project's a little easier if you've got an actually square board. Mine is just off in shape, and that's okay. So I'm going to start by alternating rather large dabs of paint onto my canvas. I want it to be enough that it is going to be able to spread down the canvas with my finger. So we're going to just take and alternate. I've got a cashmere brown and a gold. We don't need that very corner done, as that will be filled in with some of the other, that paint wasn't mixed up properly. Let's just see if we can, well, I'm going to set that one aside and move on to another one. I am using a lot of dark neutral shades in mine, and that's because that's what I like. When you're doing this project, use the colors that you have on hand or those that you like. So this is the process that takes a little bit of time. If you're working with somebody that doesn't like the feel of paint on their hands or getting dirty, by all means, make sure that they are using a glove. I'm going to go back here along this side, and I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to alternate colors. Now it's dripping over the side here, and that's okay because we are going to want that side covered as well. If you're only using a couple of colors, 3 or 4 colors, make sure that you're alternating those colors, and you can get a different look as well by adding white underneath this, and that would be a way to create some more texture as you're doing the project. Now my drops might be too big on this, and that's okay. I will figure that out as I go along. And that's what's kind of nice about these projects, is I'm not planning them out, I'm doing them with you. Just dropped my palette knife, and I'm going to set that there in case I decide to use it. I'm actually going to take it and spread that side out a bit with that palette knife right now, just to clean it up so it's not dripping all over as we're working. And I'm going to put one last color here, and I'm looking at this. I've got quite a dark color there. Let's just go in. You know what? I'm going to go in with another bit of gold. Now's the fun part. So we have got drops of paint all the way along. If you have somebody who doesn't like the feel of the paint, use a disposable vinyl glove or a glove of some kind. I am going to use my fingers. But I have some paper towels set off to the side here because I don't want to mix my colors. I want to keep them clean. Now, because I've got odd numbers, I'm going to start with the one that I have the most. I'm going to put my finger in, and I'm going to drag that color all the way down. I'm going to go in and wipe my finger. Now, because there's more on this side, I'm going to actually do that on both sides. Now, you can see how we're going to need quite a bit of paint on that. And then we're going to go this way with the gold, alternating our fingers as we go, dragging it through. Because we got more on this side, I'm going to do 2 stripes on this side and then 1 on this side. Let's try the palette knife and see what that works like. So taking and spreading the paint down. It gives it a much smoother, but you don't get that tactile. And then down. And alternating is giving it a weaving pattern as we go along. Okay, I'm finding that the trick as we're doing this is to actually not push too hard on that paint. Let's go and sort of drag it down. I'm going to go back in because I want to create a little more texture. I'm going to go back in and draw that through the edge. Now up here, you see how we've got more of a lattice back and forth look? Let's take, and I'm going to take what I've got here and I'm going to simply draw it down. Beautiful. So to finish this off, I would simply go in and spread the paint all along the edges. You can go and use a little dab of paint and fill that in. You can use your finger, or you can actually go in and use a paintbrush for that. This project was actually way quicker than I had anticipated. I'm going to put in a little more white right here and drag it through and fill in that little bit. Depending on the type of paint that you use, you're going to get a different look on this. These acrylic paints are quite thin, and I was finding that they would drag to a certain part on the canvas and then didn't want to go all the way. It actually pulled nicer using the palette knife, so that might be something to remember when you're doing this project. It didn't turn out exactly like I had thought it would, but I'm still quite happy with it. Projects might not always turn out the way you want, and that's okay. I see little bits of canvas underneath there. You can leave that, or you can actually go back in and pull your paint over those areas. As I'm scraping it, I'm finding different colors underneath, and that's giving a little more interest to that project. I like to have most of my canvas covered when I'm doing a painting project. I think that's just more of a finished look. I'm just going through and pulling and dragging. Pulling it up to the edges, down where there might not be any. Loving this. Again, not exactly how I anticipated the project to go, but oh. Another thing about art, if we go into it with a certain idea, it doesn't always work out. We have to be open to experimenting and seeing what happens. Okay, I'm loving this now. I'm going to go in and paint all the edges on this project, and when it is all dry, I will take a picture and I'm going to post that at the end of the video. Acrylic finger painting. A little bit different than my initial vision was. It'll be interesting to see what your projects turned out like. If you want to post a picture in the comments section on the Facebook page, that would be great. I would love to see your work. Have a great week. I hope you have some fun playing with paint. I'm going to go paint the edges on my project and finish it up. And I will see you all back here again on our next Find It Friday.